Podcast. What handsome devil. Your host, Jack Purcell. Scissor me, daddy ass. Louis Perry, here comes. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Faces and Heels Podcast.
Welcome to the Faces and Heels Podcast, and we are Louis Perry-less tonight and the holiday season as we wrap up the Faces and Heels Podcast for 2023. Tonight is our final episode of the year, and we'll be talking to you guys about what's happening in 2024. Louis also, believe it or not, usually runs the tech show here. So I am hopefully live and hopefully sharing this everywhere. And tonight we've got an amazing way to wrap up the year. We got some big news. We got some big personalities from one of the greatest and, believe it or not, growing and up and coming promotions in the Northeast, which, as we talk about week in and week out, is a hotbed for pro wrestling, maybe the hotbed for pro wrestling. So tonight we have Kevin Santabria and Harry Davila from Blood, Sweat, and Tears Pro Wrestling.
Hello.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Jack?
Gentlemen, it is truly a thrill to have you guys here because not only do I love your product, but I love the two human beings that I'm talking to tonight. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here tonight.
You love me? Oh, stop it.
I can't do like the heart thing. I'm not good at that. I can
You
try.
just did it, though. It looked good. Right?
How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty
Doing
good,
great,
man.
man.
How you doing, buddy?
Awesome.
How you doing? How's the family? How's the holiday shopping going?
You know, I have a problem that I never thought I'd have. I've got a 14-year-old daughter, and I thought I'm going to have a landslide of requests for presents. It's not going to be an issue. It's just a matter of how much money am I spending. I got nothing. She wants bed sheets and a blanket. Nothing else.
Hey, I enjoy.
I'd be happy with that. What do you mean?
I know. But my son's going to bankrupt me. You know, this kid wants, you know, he's into, what do you call it? The Bandai kits, you know, he's into Gundam.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he was watching Rip Bison and Perry Von Vicious in Japan. And he was watching Rips bringing home these cool kits. They're visiting the big life-size Gundam. So this guy has got some big expensive stuff on his list. So I got to balance it out. I got to figure it out tonight. Maybe if listeners have ideas.
Hey,
got a 14-year-old daughter.
At least she opened up your budget.
Yeah, literally.
So, you can transfer some of that money over to the other kid.
Listen, she can't complain when your son is getting like really big gifts and she gets this blanket and bed sheet set. And she goes, "Well, Dad, how come I didn't get a good gift?" "Well, this is what you gave me. What do you want me to tell you?"
What do you want me to do? Yeah, I mean, that'll be it. I'll be palms up and I'll be the dumb dad. But I'm going to figure it out somehow. We already got some fans here. Oh, Manny's here. Manny, how are you?
Hey, Manny. Woo!
We know Manny, part of the crew, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Tears family. Eric Hunting, mega fan Eric Hunting says, "Happy ho, 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 boys." And
happy ho, ho, ho to you, too.
And it's just me tonight, Eric. No one's going to be stepping on me and interrupting me tonight. No one's name dropping tonight. It's just the three of us. So
I'm taking shots at Louis. He's sick. For the love of God.
That's true. I have no shame. We know this, though.
Yeah. Yes.
But we will move forward because I really want to focus on you guys. We've got some big news that I am absolutely overwhelmed with amazing feelings about. This gives me faith in humanity moving on to 2024.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad we
can give that to you.
Yeah.
You did. I got to tell you, you made my day when you had that phone call the other day. It truly was the highlight of my day. And I want to share it with people, but before we even do that, some of our fans, I know because I've seen them at your shows and we've talked about it. Some of our fans and listeners know you guys well. Some don't. And you guys are 4 years in with Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah, very much.
Can you give us a little bit of the origin story of Blood, Sweat, and Tears to start us off?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is probably now becoming like one of my favorite stories to tell for many reasons. Blood, Sweat, Tears Wrestling in the beginning started as kind of like a joke on a couch one day. Like I do photo and I do video work and all that stuff, and I was like, hey, how about we highlight some of the people from around here and make like a documentary and then make them seem like this big, larger than life character to like, start building resumes. Because like just like any other job anywhere, you need work experience, you need references and stuff like that. But like, where do you start when no one's giving you a shot? So BST was like made in mind to be able to help cultivate the people that really want it, to be able to have a place to come and perform and then excel and then grow. And then we love seeing our guys grow and then go off and do amazing things like the Miracle Generation, for example.
Yeah, perfect example.
They're like legit, like Dustin Waller was literally on the very first BST show.
First main event.
And it's like crazy to see where he's at now 4 years later, but
top of the indies.
Going back to like the origin of all this, it was just a little LOL session on a couch, and then we started like shooting little things here and there. Oh, look at these cool little vignettes, and then COVID hit. Before COVID, we did one show.
Yep.
Which was really nicely attended, over 100 some odd people in the place. I may or may not have ran in the ring during a match.
Wait, pause. Okay, so I was a fan at this show. Let's start off with that. I was a fan. I went with my brother. I knew someone who was going to wrestle. Manny calls me up. He goes, hey, I'm going to be an announcer at this show, and I would really love for you to be there. I'm like, it's wrestling, and you're doing some work. I'm there. So we get there. Show's really good. Had a good flow. End of the night, Lucas Chase celebrating his championship win. And I see a man who I vaguely remember from a past life run through the crowd, jump the guardrail, and attack Lucas Chase in the ring.
Boom. He was down. He just won, I think, a championship or something.
He won the title. He won the title that night.
And then I just kneed him in the head.
Yeah. And it was supposed to lead to this big overarching story, but COVID happened.
Yeah, COVID happened. And then also, too, I don't think it would ever happen anyway. Because I am in no way, shape, or form a wrestler or anything like that. But back then, it was just this little joke, this little thing that we had in our heads to try to do just to pass the time. But then COVID happened, and then that's when we really were like, okay, so we got one show out, we got it out of our systems, whatever. Cool, we did it. And that's it. I was satisfied with just that. And then COVID happened, and then we were getting real bored, and we just started experimenting with a couple more things to the point where we ended up buying a 10x10 wrestling ring, and we put it in the middle of a bar just as Connecticut was starting to have live events happen. Yes. And something that I'm very prideful of is we were one of the very first live entertainment things in at least Bridgeport that I know of.
There wasn't anything happening.
It was not hard to try to sell to people because everybody's fucking bored at home. So everybody came out, saw this cool little 10x10 ring that looks ridiculous now looking back at it. But that's how we started. In a little bar in a 10x10 ring
with plexiglass,
with plexiglass dividers, because we're professionals. We were safeguarding the talent.
Absolutely.
We did COVID tests for all the talent, or needed a legitimate sheet from a doctor or a recent test. We took the real precautions, like how any other company would. So and then that little bit there, I think, translated into people seeing how serious we were about what we were doing at that point. And not only how serious we were about the company, but about the well-being of our talent, the well-being of the audience. You know, and we're not in it to make money whatsoever. Like, so we were just trying to have like a good time with a crowd, and we did 2 sold out back to back week shows.
Yes.
Like, which was phenomenal, which led to our very first Park City Showdown outside. Once everything lifted, then we did our first outdoor event. Again, over 100 some odd people at that event.
We got shut down by the cops.
Yeah, we got shut down by the cops at the main event.
Yeah.
Luckily at the main event, you know, just like how you would write it into the story. And then pretty much from there is when, you know, we start looking at each other going, hey, I think we have something here.
Yeah.
Like
little by little.
Like, I don't think this is too much of a joke. But and then, like, I don't know where people started hitting us up on our social medias, like people that like were formally signed to like WWE or Impact or whatever. No idea how people knew anything. Like, because again, we were just like, oh, this is just here down the street. No one's going to care. Like, but then so word started going out. So then we started going harder. And then me, with anything I do in life, I do it 100%. And if I could add that extra 10% to it, I will. Like for example, this ridiculous backdrop back here that looks like we're outside in wintertime just because we have the accessibility to do that. Like, so after that initial time, we started thinking, okay, cool. What is something that other promotions maybe don't have that we can do to be different? And that was big time production. Yeah. Like, I think we present wrestling digitally a way that not a lot of other promotions do, at least not around this area. Like, and I think we do it very well. And I take a lot of pride in what we're doing. And again, it's a team effort. Yeah. The team gives me feedback all the time with edits and stuff like that. And I just drive the vehicle, and we're creating beautiful art. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people look at us, because like perception is everything. So if you have a good package, they're going to pay attention. Now all you got to do is win them with your product. And we have that already. Like, so people always come in and and enjoy like our shows and tell us all these things. It's so weird to listen to, because like a lot of it in the beginning is your family and friends. And then after that, now it's strangers.
Yeah. And, like, it's crazy because we're doing like 80 to 100 person shows almost regularly up until the last one with United by One, where we did a good over 300 people easily.
Yeah. We're near capacity.
It's just
worrying about if we have to turn people away.
Yeah, it was crazy to feel that.
Yeah, so it was so crazy. And then our kickoff show for the year, Elevate.
Yeah.
You know, the name is for a reason, because that's like, I think the show that we went into it going, okay, we're here and we're here to stay forever now.
We were resetting at that point too. Like, so our roster and stuff like that. Correct. We were in the midst of like a big roster reset, and we were gonna kind of like switch up how we were doing things as far as the company goes, as far as talent goes, production goes, overall aesthetic of our shows. All that stuff was changing, and on that one night in April last year at Elevate, we essentially did that. And I think from then on is when people started taking us seriously as a brand. I think it was that night that people were like, oh man, BST is somewhere we want to be. At least that's how I felt.
Yes. I felt the same way too. Like, if I could rip it off the wall, but I have our Elevate poster like up here framed, like signed by all the town, because it was a big landmark for us. And it just changed like a lot of things for us that year. And then obviously, alluding to what we're going to talk about later, it's a road that we set forth knowing that we would be able to achieve certain things if we just go all in. And we had to go all in. So, like, and
pun intended, at least from my end, all in, you know. It's still like one of those things where I feel like I'm in a dream sometimes, and like I haven't woken up yet. But like my path is a little different than his. What his started from a couch. Essentially mine did too, but my circumstances were different. I didn't start from day one. As you heard in the beginning, I was a fan, and I was just a fan. And I got approached by Kevin and one of our other partners, who shall not be named. And they were like,
his name's man. You just name drop.
I mean, I didn't want to name drop, you know.
Right.
That's the only name drop.
No, I don't want to name drop. Jack said no name dropping.
I'm sorry.
Follow the rules.
All right, my bad.
I don't know. Anyway,
It wasn't Manny.
It wasn't Manny, but
Okay.
Manny has a big part in this. Manny hit me up. He goes, "Hey man, remember that company that I got beat up at? You know, the first show." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, my friend wants to kind of like enhance this product, and he needs commentators. And I told him that you'd be pretty much perfect for this." So I'm like, "Okay."
He wasn't wrong.
You know, I'm, nervous, jittery, like, oh my God, like I'm actually going to be approached for something that I've been wanting to do forever. And I go to our friend's house and he sits me down. He plays Arn Anderson. It was a WCW, and I know Arn Anderson was a part of it. That's all I remember. And he sat me down. We ran through the match, talked about it, whatever. And he goes, "You're perfect. When can you start?" And I'm like, "Whenever you need me." And that was the first 2 shows at Toe Talk.
Yes.
The
correct.
tournament, Electric
Yeah.
Boogaloo.
You joined us during the 10x10 era.
Yes, I did. So we started doing that, and I do color commentary for maybe like the first few shows.
Yes.
And then I started realizing that may not have been my bread and butter. That may not have been what's going to bring me to the dance, so to speak. And little by little, I got trusted in doing more of the backstage stuff, more talent relation stuff. And essentially that's where I'm at now. So if it wasn't for people like Manny and the team to entrust me with that, I probably wouldn't even be a part of this. So I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, and he's done a phenomenal job. And I say this to everybody jokingly, but also serious. If you wanted to wrestle and you put on boots yesterday, this guy knows about you already. I don't know how he does it, but like he has the finger on the pulse in a crazy way where like I mentioned to him like sometimes very obscure wrestlers that I don't think he knows that I just bumped into like maybe on online. I'm like, "Hey, so and so?" It's like, "Oh yeah, they wrestled here. They held these belts here. He's actually the longest reigning guy at this." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So like, that I'm doing. And if he doesn't know, give him less than 24 hours, and he'll be able to tell you that person's history better than that same person.
That's my experience with Harry too. It's like an encyclopedia like knowledge. Because when I was just getting to know him, I was like, "Oh yeah, what about this guy?" And he would be citing specific matches, and I was like, "Oh wow, like this guy knows his shit." Like,
Yeah,
you immediately get it. You're like, "Oh yeah, cool." Like,
yeah,
you know what's going on.
I've seen him like correct like obscure dates like from the 80s. It's like a show in like 1987, and the guy says it would happen on April 14th. It's actually, no, it was the 13th. It was supposed to be the 14th, but there was a storm coming, so they moved it a day. I'm like, "Yo, how do you know this? How do you know this?" But thank you for being part of the team, because we need somebody just like you. Hey, what's going on, Larry? What's up?
Hey, Larry. Happy holidays, my friend.
That whole thing is kind of like, it's almost like how football fans know their stats for their players.
I guess, yeah.
I guess this is my sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ask Manny about the Dodgers, and he could tell you stats well far in advance, and I would even go, "Whoa, you know your stuff, man." So
batting averages, everything.
That's essentially how I look at wrestling, and it's all stats and stuff like that for me. So this is the one thing that's never left my side. I can talk about wrestling and how far it goes back to me, all the way back to maybe like 4 years old. I'm 37 now. I've always watched wrestling since about that time. And I know of stuff younger that my mom would tell me. Like, my mom would tell me when I was a baby, and I actually had this conversation with Mandy the other day. She would sit me on a coffee table, and I'd watch wrestling from Puerto Rico, WWC, the World Wrestling Council, and she would sit me on the table, and I would never move unless I had to use the bathroom or I needed to eat. I would just be completely immersed by this universe, these characters, and it's just something that I just never lost love for. That's
an amazing thing to have in your life too. I mean, I've had it probably since I was like 18 or so, and I've kind of been in and out. So I can't even say that I'm in the same boat as you guys are. Or Harry, as you're describing, but like comic books have been that for me. I mean, it's really like the one thing where I got way too much nerdy knowledge about. Because it was funny, I had just found out something about what I thought was a big a tag team breakup, a big tag team breakup that happened this weekend. And the
the
first person I thought was, I got to see what Harry thinks. And I didn't, because I thought maybe I could ask you now. Do you know of a big tag team breakup that happened this weekend that surprised you?
If you're talking about aggro turning on
Yes.
stage your kid, I sat on my couch, I was watching the show, and I'm watching. They have an absolute killer match with Above the Rest, and they're getting a little curtain call and all that stuff, and I'm watching, and I'm thinking that maybe like they're just gonna step away from Limitless for a while. That's where my head is at. They're gonna step away, they're gonna come back stronger, run the division. And aggro turned, and I was like, what the?
Yeah.
And that was, and it's crazy because I went on Twitter right after that, and you see it all over Twitter. Everybody's like, what the front door is going on here? So yes, I did see the big breakup from over the weekend. I'm hurt, aggro, hurt. You hear me?
You hear him?
How could you? How could you?
Yeah, it was huge. I was totally taken by surprise, but that is awesome. I'm so glad I waited. That was totally unrehearsed, Harry. Thank you very much for
no problem.
Always being one. It's like I can always be guaranteed you're going to be 5 or more levels ahead of me in Fortnite, and I always know you're going to know your stuff in wrestling.
Question: where are you on Fortnite?
33.
Oof. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
You already threw the battle pass, I'm sure.
No, I'm about 3/4 through. Yeah. I've had a lot of fun while I've been down with my sicknesses the last few times. So I've had some time at home to kind of like get into Fortnite, but that's a story for another time.
Taking it out on all the sweats. I could appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I think, Kevin, you really touched on what I was going to ask you, and I think you kind of answered it already, but I feel like a lot of companies like pro wrestling promotions don't really have like a defined personality. Like there's a lot of companies who, they have a lot of great talent from the Northeast, for instance, like if you're a promotion in the Northeast, but like I can't necessarily sometimes even remember what promotion I saw this match at, because it's just another place with the ring, in a VFW or something like that. But
and again, that's where we started to, like, we were in like similar places too, and we're not like above being in those places either. Still,
not at all.
Like, we'll entertain where the entertainment is needed. But that's the thing too, because like, all right, so like to peel the curtain back more on me personally, I'm a WWE guy. Like,
yes, you are.
Prior to all this, I watched no ROH. I watched no independence whatsoever. Like, the independence that I thought was cool was really NXT. That's not really independence, but they have independence people on there, right? So via NXT and stuff is where I started like learning about all these people. And I'm just sitting here like, where are you getting these people from? Like, who's creating them in a laboratory? This is crazy. Whatever. And then by being friends with him and then the power of Google, I'm like, oh, dude, like there's the indie scene's so much more than what you see on TV. Like, there's crazy talent out there that would blow. Again, no offense to anybody on TV, but there's some people that I've seen wrestling in front of one person that can probably put on a hell of a show better than some of the TV guys. So that's when I stopped being like ignorant and like started trying to like understand indie wrestling, but still keeping the WWE mindset in my head, because again, everything I do, I try to do it as big as possible. So like my dreams for this company is to be like the next WWE. I want to be, I know we'll never get there, at least not in my lifetime, but like that's where we're shooting. So like, how do we get there? Presentation, production, having good workers in the ring, good communication with everybody in the business, especially the workers, and like not taking fans for granted. No. And just like giving it 1,000% like every time. And then not only when you receive the good praise, that's not where I rest. If you give me good praise and tell me that we just did something cool, you like something we did, guess what? Now you put in my head that's old.
Yeah, now we got to elevate it.
Now I got to keep pushing because now you notice what we were doing. Now you appreciate it. Keep appreciating this, but now we're going to go here and keep doing all these other things. Like, so like we're always constantly trying to be in the forefront of like technology for our brand and like presentation and stuff. And the biggest thing that we hear in the back all the time, and to me, it blows my mind to this day, we haven't had any workers in the back ever say anything but the experience in the back at a BST show is very different and it feels like a family.
At least not to our face.
Yeah. But like they could say anything they want. But like we've gotten that from people that are like former TV talent or current TV talent, like and things like that. And again, similar to what we touched on earlier, your friends and family are telling you good job, cool. But once like even like somebody that we barely know that we just brought in starts telling you all this stuff like unbiasedly, at least we're assuming. Yeah. Like it's kind of crazy. Or like the things that we hear that they complain about other promotions that we just think is like 101 human things that should just be happening.
Speaking of that, Matt Cardona tweeted something the other day about promotions bringing water. And yeah, I know you did. And it's one of those things where I'm reading this tweet and I'm just like, what company isn't bringing water?
Yeah. Even when in our tent, like to tell you, Jack, when we were doing 10 by 10 rings in a bar, we had catering for the boys and girls and water.
Yep. At least at the
that
very
was
least.
Never something that we were like, oh, we could skip that part.
Yeah. No, that was always like essential.
Because I know if I'm somewhere for a long time and I'm not eating, I'm not going to be in a good mood.
Yeah.
So we got
yeah, I mean, you guys, I mean, my experience, and I've been to many shows, and I've seen Harry at many shows.
Yes.
And I really have seen a wide variety of professionalism on different levels. And I feel like, and this is no BS, this is just my honest point of view, is I've never seen an ounce of anything but professionalism at the BST shows on every level. It's not even just the way you treat the talent, and it's the way you treat the fans. I mean, you know, the first time I got to meet you guys, I just felt like, you know what, these guys are authentic and excited. You know, it was great because there's been other times I've met promoters and and they're like, you know, could barely look at me, and then, you know, they're going to take a quick nip of vodka in the corner, and then, you know, it just didn't feel great. But the BST shows, like the venues, I mean, the venues you guys have been running in, that Two Roads Brewery show, I mean, my girlfriend, who still hasn't come out of the closet as a full-on pro wrestling fan, when I told her and took pictures and showed her, she's like, "Oh, I'll go to that." I'm like, "Nice. If you've got her willing to come to a show."
You want to?
Do you want to drop some Two Road dates real quick?
I can look at our calendar here. Go. We have some Two Road dates for you, Jack.
All right, Kirsten, here we go.
Give me 1 second here. Let me open the handy dandy calendar here.
And again, to touch on more things, the Two Roads shows and stuff like that, like
like those are that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. And I mean, there were some hiccups that night, but that's still, I think that was one of the more fun and stressful shows that I've had.
Yeah, it was
since I started this journey. As far as Two Roads go, we have 2 dates this year. We're not doing 1, we're doing 2. July 6th, Two Roads presents Star Spangled Bash Part 2. And then October 26th, we're doing Halloween at Two Roads. We haven't really come up with a name for that one yet. That one's just like one of those like standby names, but we're doing that at Two Roads on October 26th. I'm really excited for that. We could actually even talk about our first 2 dates of the new year.
Please.
You want to let them know that?
I mean, you want to drop it right now?
Yeah, man. Why not?
It's tonight at Harry's house.
Yeah, baby.
Right.
Come over.
On my way.
No, but in all seriousness, we are starting 2024 off with a bang. March 1st at the Devonshire Hall, we are back for Lethal Leap Year, which I am very excited to start announcing some matches very, very soon that I know are gonna they're gonna excite our fans. And then Elevate comes back April 19th at Devonshire Hall. The talent that I've already secured for both these shows, I won't reveal that yet because I do want to give it some time. I know going into the new year, we want to announce some stuff very. We're going to start announcing, I think, the first week of the new year.
Yeah. So, correct. After
about one
January
more week.
1st, you should be seeing some more information.
Yeah.
Of the shows that are coming out this year so far.
So it's gonna be a good 2024.
What's up, Bruce?
Especially with the huge news that we dropped the other day. Kevin, let them know.
Let's hear it.
All right, cool. So, we're very pleased to announce that we are officially debuting on IWTV starting in 2024. Thank you. This was something that we were working on to be able to acquire, literally this year is what we set out to do to position ourselves to be able to then go and acquire a position in IWTV.
Yep.
So for the people that might be listening or listen to it afterwards or listening now, our back catalog will be available on there as well. I know that's a question some people had.
Yeah.
So, Elevate, Mega Clash, and even the United by One show that we just did, that will hit IWTV in 2024, along with all of the shows that we're going to be doing going forward. Shortly after, the events are done, they'll be up and running on IWTV.
Just so there is no confusion, we are going to be video on demand to start off.
Yes.
And we're going to try to figure out how we can do the live streaming from Devonshire Hall. We're hoping to figure that out by the end of the year, hopefully. But our goal is to try to be live stream on IWTV toward the end of 2024.
Correct.
So those are our future goals as far as BST on IWTV goes. Very excited for the IWTV stuff, only because that is the premier destination for independent wrestling. Regardless of how anyone thinks, there's literally a catalog from companies in California, Chicago, Florida, Philly, Jersey, New York, all over IWTV. Hell, our independent wrestling tag team champions, the Miracle Generation, those are guys that started off, like he said earlier, at BST shows, PAPW shows, and have evolved to become the best tag team in the independents. So being a part of that branding only amplifies us that much more.
Yes, very excited. And then also too, going back to how we like to do things, and present well. The main reason why we're not going live stream right away is because we want to make sure that when we do live stream, the same experience that you see from the edited footage that we put out is exactly what you're seeing in real time. So again, going back, we want to make sure we're putting out the best possible product at all times.
Yes.
Well,
we want to change the game. We want to change the game. That's the main goal here. I want to change how like he said earlier, with the professionalism, how backstage is seen. I want to be able to let the performers tell their stories in the ring. I want to give them the creative freedom to be able to do that in front of you guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're looking to do with 2024. We're only going to take that and expand on that.
And again, too, all the boys and girls from the locker room that's been with us all these years.
Yeah.
Thank you sincerely, because without you guys, there's nothing we can do, and we wouldn't be where we're at.
No,
so it's 100% gratitude towards all of them.
From the Shea Slaters to the Big Jim Andersons, rest in peace. Dustin Wallers, Kylon Kingichi Bonds, Brick City Boys who have come through. Thank you guys. Thank everybody who has come through our locker room. Big Juicy, Dajé Simone, everybody that's come through our locker room at one point or another. Thank you all, because we don't get here without you guys. We don't get here without all the work that you guys have done to help us grow as a brand. And I sincerely thank you, because of you guys, I get to live out my dream, man. And I'm truly grateful.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you guys have the winning attitude on every level. I think that so many artists in whatever medium do lack sometimes is, they get easily discouraged. They get negative when things get tough.
Yeah.
I remember the Two Roads Brewery show, and without saying anything specific, I remember you guys saying some stuff that happened that was really stressful.
Yeah.
You guys were dealing, it was we're going to work it out, make it happen. You had all the lights. The setup was amazing. And it's something that you guys have always exceeded many of the other independents with, is the production. It really does feel like the video, everything I see for the promotion matches, it feels big. It feels like it has personality. And I'm never confused about when I was at a BST show. I know where I was. Oh, battery exhausted. Oh, Harry's playing a prank on me. Kevin's playing a prank. Uh-oh, they're going dark. Hold on. All right, we're having a little technical difficulty here, but we're going to get Kevin and Harry back in a moment. But BST on IWTV is huge news. I'm really pumped for it. March and April, we got 2 big dates announced, and then July and October back at Two Roads Brewery. And I'm going to have to hold Kirsten to her word, and she's going to be showing up at the Two Roads Brewery to see BST. There they are.
Sorry, got carried away. Forgot to check on the battery.
Technical difficulties, but we're still here.
It happens to the best of us. Oh, and Eric Hunting's reminding us it's Victor Chase's birthday.
How good we do everything, and all the lights go out.
Like Eric said, happy birthday, Victor Chase.
Happy birthday to you.
Can I request a dream match? And that I think, Harry, I know for sure you've thought about, and Kevin, you probably have too.
Go ahead.
But I remember one of my favorite moments, aside from the main event where Lewis almost fell out of his seat, which is probably my favorite part of the show, was Brick City is one of my favorite tag teams that I've seen at BST in my course of shows that I've been at. I would love to see them challenge the new champions, the Haven.
So Brick City and the Haven have already touched for BST tag titles before, but I don't mind running that back. Brick City, if you're listening, would love to have you back.
Hey, they were an emergency last-minute substitution.
And they killed it.
And then this time, if we set them up, it's not going to be last minute. Maybe they're the ones that take it from them.
Yeah, because you guys, I thought that Mega Clash was like a really cool WrestleMania-ish show for me anyway. It blew me away. I loved how it was
right here.
I mean, good. So that makes us feel good because that was the intent.
Yeah.
Like Mega Clash, we want to make it be like the show like that we lead up to for the year. So just you saying that's kind of the inkling that you felt lets us know that we're
hitting the mark
ourselves in that regard.
Yeah, it was killer. I just loved it just kind of like it felt big, like it changed the world. It was like the world of BST is completely changed, and like these new, I guess you could say up and comers or challengers have taken over, and guys like Lucas Chase, who were so dominant, is no longer the champion. We got Bobby Buffet, and he's kind of got a spotlight all over him in various places, and Vita Von Star, who we know from all kinds of promotions and who's had killer matches, like you mentioned Big Juicy, great matches in BST. The Haven against Miracle Generation, I could see them fight a dozen more times and I'll never complain because the matches are always great.
Listen,
but that was the hardest hitting match I've ever seen those guys in facing each other.
To peel back the curtain just a little bit, that's a match we've been trying to kind of set up for roughly a year and some change.
Yeah. A lot of hiccups in the
a lot of things happened very last minute up until like the date that we were going to have it happen, where we've had to kind of like pivot. Somebody got injured or whatever. And one night we had to pivot towards another matchup or situation. And when they finally locked up at, was it Mega Clash?
Mega Clash.
Yeah, Mega Clash this year. They absolutely tore the house down. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The best tag team match we've had in BST history.
Yeah, like no lie,
hands down.
Like if there are people that come to the shows, you'll see my goofy face, like wow, I can't even speak.
Roaming the ring.
Yeah, roaming the ring with a camera. And then there's instances during matches that I become a fan. I kind of forget to aim my camera in the right spot. And that tag match had a lot of times where I forgot I had a job. Yeah, like I was very into what they were doing.
There's a few matches that kind of like just grab you.
Mm-hmm.
Another person who has been kind of like literal fire the last year, Sammy Diaz, and his rise.
Yep, top 5 Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive, man, and he's been absolutely on fire for BST, just killing it with matches with Mathers and Landon Hale, just to name a couple.
Yeah.
But
that boy could go.
We've had a few, like this year, as far as like our match quality goes, has I mean, I think it's night and day from even the beginning shows, and not disrespecting any of those other wrestlers. It's just it's a different time, you know. And like we've had guys like we Miracle Generation, Ichiban. Dan the Man has been doing some crazy work with his in ring this last year. He's done some really cool stuff.
A lot of good storytelling work that he's been doing. He's like the master of like telling a story. I love him.
One of our favorites, Jack, which I can't wait to get him back in BST ring. Andy Brown has had some killer matches for BST. His first match with Bobby at Elevate.
Oh yeah.
I still remember the crowd reaction when we rung that bell at the time limit. The crowd was hot for an extra few minutes between those two. I would love to run that back again.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, this year.
Absolutely.
So
Bobby's hungry. We got to feed him some people.
Yeah, man. I've already talked to Bobby to tell him who he's got coming up this year, and I know he's excited. So it's gonna be a good year for us as far as what we present to you guys, especially on IWTV. I'm just looking to do things a little bit differently than what I've seen. Yes. You know, we're trying to change the game just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a great lineup of talent, and it always feels like there's consistency. It doesn't ever feel like, you know, regardless of what may happen, you know, like you said, there's injuries, there's all sorts of things that can happen. But I always feel like the shows are very consistent, and there isn't like a lot of randomness. Like you've seen people rise in the ranks, and, you know, Vita Von Star is somebody who comes to my mind anyway, who I've really enjoyed her work since I first saw her in Ring of Honor. And then seeing her at your show, you know, in matchups that I've never seen before was exciting. And then to see her in that title match was just awesome. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot of continuity in what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Exactly right. Like, for example, like the whole rise of Vita and leading to that championship was something that we worked on for over a year.
Yeah.
Making sure like Evie De La Rosa as our Monarchs champion. Thank you so much. One of the sweetest, kindest people we ever met. But when that bell rings, you better just like make sure you cover up. But
like De La Rosa is the truth.
But she's a phenomenal worker. Absolutely. Like she's amazing. Like and we had her be a very dominant force, and then telling the story of like her and Patrick Sane always underhandedly, you know, costing them all the win, leading to the handcuff match with Patrick Sane handcuffed to our ref Bill, with Vita, her former title contender, back at it again, but now with Patrick Sane a little bit, you know, under control.
Yeah. Like Evie's been hands down one of the best people I've had the chance to even associate with as far as the wrestling business goes. She's very very generous, very open to like ideas and stuff like that. She's never I guess the word I want to say is she's never been hard to deal with at all.
No. And
she was an amazing champion. Look at what she's doing now. IWA Puerto Rico Women's Champion. She's held that belt for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And like just to see where she's gone is cool, and I'm very, very happy to call her one of the people who kind of like pillared this new era of BST wrestling.
Oh yeah, for sure. She definitely helped us push our women's division greatly forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, absolutely. Like she busted her butt. Like promos always on point.
Yeah.
Showing, like, representing everywhere she goes. Like she was perfect. She was perfect.
To Eric Hunting, who was talking about Alec Price, me and Jack have talked a few times about how good Alec Price is, and who knows, maybe Alec Price will show up in BST in 2024. It's something I'm looking to do, and he knows that because we've talked about it numerous times. It's just, you know, he's a very, very, very busy man. He's all over the place, and
rightfully so.
Extremely on demand. Exactly, rightfully so, as the IWTV champion. So, you know, maybe 2024 will be the year that we see Alec Price in BST. Who knows? But I would love to make that happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many matchups that would be amazing. Easily. I mean, I think he could have a good match with just about anybody, but with the array of talent that you guys have is pretty crazy. I mean, even Lucas Chase, who again I always think of as being very synonymous with you guys. He's down in Florida winning championships. He's on, he's appearing on AEW. We see him all over the place. So I'm guessing he's not done with Bobby Buffet. There might be a second course, so to speak. So
yeah, maybe perhaps.
Well, I mean, we'll see what the year brings. I feel like this is good. Lucas Chase has been on a hot streak as well.
Yes.
Like as you said, he's all over the place, winning titles in other states. We've talked ad nauseum about how good he is. And his credentials.
Just don't let him hear it too much.
Yeah, please. It increases like this. It's pretty crazy. You got to see it in person. That's the crazy part. When you see it in person, all love. But he's one of those guys where you put him with anybody and he'll tear the house down.
Yeah, and
listen, just watch United by one and watch Elevate. Watch this whole year and watch his matches, and you'll see how good he is.
Yeah, and also to touch on him a little bit more, like it just maybe makes him a little bit more special, but like he's also a very giving individual. Like he's always taking care of the people that are in the ring with him. He's making sure they're looking good too. He's very selfless in what he does.
Yes.
Like, and he always wants to make sure that not just for him, but for the audience and his opponents. Like everybody's having the best time they can. And he's always asking people like what they think about things and then coaching them too. It's very beautiful to see. And that's why he's our locker room leader, because he has a love for the business, the inside the ring business, like no one else that I personally know. And it translates a lot. And I think a lot of people in the back appreciate having someone like him, especially too, who wouldn't want to listen to a guy that got trained by Dustin Rhodes, one of the most legendary families in professional wrestling that is not Samoan. You know what I'm saying? So like,
or a heart.
Come on. Or a heart. So, there's some knowledge in there that I think some people should, listen to.
Yeah, he's very selfless. We joke around and whatever, but a lot of BST's success, falls on him. He's done a fantastic job of holding the banner and waving it proudly.
Yeah.
First 2-time champion, longest reigning champion. Again, look at the calendar year of shows that we've had with him on it. Every match is top contender for match of the night.
He's also one of those guys that makes me forget I'm supposed to be shooting.
Yeah. You could just watch him and kind of like get immersed in what he's doing. Let's watch his match with Fuego. And it's crazy because the match with Fuego is a different match than every other match he's had with us this year. Because that one was more like he was more coming in like a hometown hero.
Yep.
And it was cool to see
against
Lucas
a personal friend of his.
Yeah, to see Lucas in that light in a different environment other than, I'm just a nasty, brutal heel that's going to beat you up, so, watch that match with Fuego and you'll see exactly what I'm trying to say. He's just been one of our MVPs.
Well, I've got a piece of Lucas Chase artwork coming in 2024 too. I'll make sure you guys see it before I unveil it anywhere, but it's pretty fun. And I think you'll appreciate the nod to a film that I believe will be very obvious.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
It'll be fun. So I love that you guys have already dropped some dates. We got IWTV.
Yes.
Here's one thing I also love, and Cece's part of this too.
Yes. We didn't talk about Cece. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't want to leave her out because I got to say,
we're gonna get fired.
No, she's the main event. We're supposed to save her for the end.
The merch part of BST is one of my favorite aspects in terms of indie shows. Like sometimes you got guys like Bobby Orlando, who you guys have had, who's just like the king of indie wrestler merch. But you guys, like Cece has like the really cool t-shirts, all different varieties and colors. Kirsten even owns one. When I showed her my pictures from the show, she was like, "Oh, what's that?" And then I've got some of the foil variant BST t-shirts, which I love. Like really, one of my
it was.
Dude, I almost always wear it when I'm in an airport. If I'm in an airport flying, I almost always wear my BST foil variants. I got 2 of them. So I'm hoping more of those are on the horizon because it's something I really look forward to. And I don't think about that at any other indie shows. Like there's never something where I'm thinking beyond supporting a wrestler. I'm like, ooh, what are the BST merch pieces going to look like?
We'll drop a little bit more because we're in a giving mood and this is the season finale.
Yes.
We won't give away too much,
No.
but there may or may not be a little collaboration happening with a artist that used to do CM Punk shirts, and
We're not name dropping, Kevin.
Used to work for Pro Wrestling Tees as an artist, and all this other stuff. So there's going to be in 2024 at some point a lot more fun merch coming.
Nice. All right.
There's a lot of little changes that are going to be happening very gradually, and I won't spill them all here. You'll see them when you come to our shows or you watch us on IWTV. You're going to see little things changing little by little as we go through.
You saw that plug he did real quick again, just in case if anybody missed the IWTV.
Yeah, just in case anybody's not paying attention.
Right.
But yeah, there's going to be little changes, little things. From production to just like the overall aesthetic of the shows. Again, 2024 is going to be a very big year for us, and I'm very excited to continue this dream that we're living.
We're quietly working away,
little by little.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure 2024 is another landmark year.
Yeah, right on. So here's a question I had, and I wasn't sure. Again, you may or may not want to talk about this, but one thing that I've when I've been to the BST shows, you got a lot of singles matches, you got a lot of tag team matches, you got triple threat matches. Have you guys ever thought about having like team elimination matches or Survivor Series style matches or something like that? It occurred to me when I was looking at some of the cards, like that might be really cool putting like this combination together.
So we've had one Survivor Series style match, which was at Road to Success 2023. No, 2022, excuse me, 2022. Which was Miracle Gen as a whole against Sammy Diaz, Elijah Six, Joseph Alexander, and Patrick Saint. That was and we did that in November, obviously homage to Survivor Series. So to answer that, we have done those in the past. There's a couple match types that I kind of want to test the waters on this year. So you might see some things, randomly hit the card and go, oh, that's intriguing. So I would just keep my eyes peeled. I'm gonna do some things a little differently this year. So
correct.
To answer your question, yes, maybe. Okay. You'll see.
Well, I stand corrected that I was not aware. I haven't a senior moment apparently about that.
No, that's fine. Hey, listen, there's only been one. Yeah, we're not holding it against you.
Yeah, you're good. And again, harping back to we like taking our time to make sure things are perfect. There's a bunch of match types we want to do, but we just want to make sure that it's done the right way, in a way where it's impactful for the fans.
My goal this year is I want to, and I'm going to attempt to do this, haven't really figured out who I want to do it with, but I would like to have a Texas death match.
Oh,
not just like one of those death matches, but I wanted to or like a strap match or something like that. Something like that. Something kind of like a blood feud ender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to throw it back to the old school time where you may have to touch the 4 turnbuckles, before you
Eddie
win.
Guerrero versus JBL.
Yeah, something like that. I want to be able to tell a story that way. So that's something I'm looking to try to do this year.
And if we can't find somebody crazy enough, Jack, you want to participate?
Yeah, I'll throw you in.
Well, I am seeing a new chiropractor. Maybe I can get my act together.
All right, good. And then when Lewis heals up.
Yeah, you and Lewis.
Jack,
why are you giving up the finish already? Nobody's going to watch it now if they know Jack is up. Oh, it's a swerve?
I mean,
you said that on there too.
Jesus, it's a double swerve now.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you. And sometimes I ask questions that I kind of know the answers to, but I know that some of the listeners may not. But this is sincere because, I'm a subscribed to IWTV and I'm super jazzed that you guys are going to be there. But for people who aren't familiar with IWTV and how this all works, and honestly, I'm not even sure. How can fans who want to support BST best serve you? I mean, obviously, you want to watch it. Is there anything that fans can do that would be useful to you? Because I don't know all the mechanics of how it works.
I mean, essentially, subscribe on IWTV or independentwrestling.com.
Yep.
$10 a month. pretty fair. Like,
Yeah.
and then
so much stuff on there for $10. It's almost like
Yeah,
you're robbing them at this point.
Yeah, it's endless.
it's a lot. But so like, once we make our debut there, just watch it.
Watch
Just
that.
it.
Follow us on all socials:
Yeah, tell a friend.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you see a show go up, post it. You know, like little things like that go really, really far for any company. If I'm not mistaken, like I know, like just sharing your event. I'm not going to name it, but there was a company who did that the other day, and they were like, hey, the best way to support us, share this with everybody in your friends list. And I thought that was genius.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely genius, because that one person now shared it with 300 people.
Yeah.
And out of those 300 people, you're going to essentially find one or two at the very minimum that are going to go, oh, I like wrestling. Click, and now you've got a new follower.
Yeah, and throughout this whole journey too, we've been bumping into a lot of people that we have no idea that they even like wrestling.
Yeah.
Like for example, like people at my regular 9-to-5 job, sometimes they ask me, "Oh, what'd you do this weekend?" And I always try to dance around what I do.
Right.
Because like I try to keep like my professional life. I got like 3 professional lives to try to separate. Like and like because like, I don't want to like sound like I'm like just like at my job poaching for tickets or whatever. But like, but when I mention it, like when they kind of give me no choice but to like, oh no, what happened though? Like I'm like, oh well, I did this and that. I'm like, oh cool. So you like work for them? Like, oh no, I kind of like run a little bit of a promotion or whatever. It still feels weird saying that I'm a promoter. Or
Yeah,
we're promoters.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've struggled with the most.
I just feel like I'm gonna do this, having a good time doing what I'm doing.
Pretty much.
Like that's pretty much it.
Just having fun, guys. Just having fun.
But then like when we go and tell them about what we do, or to ask us what the hell these shirts even mean, and then we tell them what it is, like, oh my god, I love wrestling. Where do you guys do it out of? And we're like, here in Connecticut. Like, oh my god, there's a thing in Connecticut. I'm like, yeah, come check us out at Two Roads or at Devonshire Hall or whatever it is.
It's crazy. Like my brother, he didn't really because he's not really like a social media guy. And I hit him up for a Star Spangled Bash, and I was like, hey man, I'm running a show at the brewery. Like, you want to come and like just enjoy it and like spend some time with me? He goes, you know what? Yeah, because he's so busy as well. So like, it's really hard for us to connect and like get together. And he came down. He's been to every show since. And he's a big wrestling fan, but he kind of fell off a little bit because family and life, and sometimes time just takes all your fun away.
Yeah, time. Time is something we all like fight with.
But he's made it out to the last few shows, and every time, like even when we announced it, he was like one of the first person to text me and go, "Dude, I'm so proud. I'm so happy." And just having those little things, like, oh my god, like I brought my brother back to wrestling, and it feels good for me. It feels cool to say that.
Wrestling is like one of those weird like art forms that just like has a way of bringing certain people together in a very cool way. It's like a little brother and sisterhood of just like, it's like when you're at a wrestling show, you're essentially with your extended family.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like wrestling fans are very passionate, sometimes too passionate, but like they're also some of the most giving and nice people you ever see.
Absolutely. Like the girl from the Collecticon that won the tickets. Yeah. She's been to our show, and she came up to you at the last one and told you how good it was.
Yeah, I was very surprised because I always assume everyone forgets as soon as everyone leaves. So like she came up to us at the Collecticon, and she was like, "Hey, I'm the one that won the VIP tickets from here last time. Went to the show, very fun. Can't wait for the next one." And I think she's gone to like 2 at this point. Yeah. Because she mentioned that she saw Pyro at her show, and that was Axel.
Yeah,
with his fire dancing.
The fire breathing.
That was definitely not the one that she got free tickets for. So she ended up going to another one. And again, it's
Axel. Axel won tickets to Puerto Rico that day.
And then Vela Airlines, man, like he won the.
That's awesome.
That thing, I wanted it so bad.
I know, so did I.
That's awesome. Well, here, I don't want to shortchange you guys because we're coming up on the last minute and a half. But I didn't know if you guys were going to be turning up on places like Threads and what's it called, Blue Sky. I know that we could find you.
Blue Sky. We have Threads. I still got to figure out what
that is essentially.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too.
We'll figure it out together, Jack.
Let's do it. I'd love the collaboration. And after we're off the air, if you guys can hang for a minute, I just wanted to make sure I got to say goodbye to you for a moment before
Absolutely.
we sign off. But I did want to make sure that all of our listeners could follow you if they're not already doing it and get on board.
Kevin?
Yeah, so you can find us on all of our social medias, BST Wrestling. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're working on a website for more behind the curtain things.
Yep.
So go follow us everywhere you can find us, and but especially at our shows. Come and see what we're doing, and if you like it, come back.
Tell them your single socials.
My single socials?
Yeah, your Phantasm Production.
Oh, man, if you want to follow me at Phantasm Productions on Instagram, again, I don't like talking too much about my other businesses, but essentially this is what brings all this production to life.
He doesn't like to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about him real quick. Follow him at Phantasm Production. He is an amazing photographer and videographer.
Thank you, sir.
I've had him actually do my your maternity photos, and they came out absolutely beautiful. So yeah, follow him. Ultra HD1 is my Instagram. You can follow me if you like. I really only post my kids in wrestling. So if that's what you're looking for, that's where you'll find it.
Love it. Right on. Well, gentlemen, I can't think of better people to share the last broadcast with of 2023. So thank you for taking the time to be here tonight.
Love you, Jack. Absolutely, man.
You're the best, Jack.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed it. It felt like 5 minutes.
Oh, we could do this forever.
Nice.
Look at that.
That was like magic. Oh, yeah. Harry, you're so good at that.
I try sometimes. I give this a lot to the wife.
Nice. You're a good husband too, Harry. I know.
Sometimes.
All right. Well, listen, thank you guys for watching and listening. You can find me at Jack Purcell Inc. I'm on Threads, not really sure what I'm doing, and Facebook and Instagram. So please give me a follow if you're on there, and we will see you in 2024.
You have been watching The Angry Geek Show on Pod TV. Visit our website today. And for guest bookings, email us at theangrygeekshow@gmail.com today.